Welcome to the Kickstart My Franchise podcast. I'm your host, Tim Michaels. Today, I'm joined by Shaina Denny, who is the founder of a tech-driven franchise that is revolutionizing the dog daycare industry. Thanks for joining us, Shaina.
Hey, Tim, excited to be here today.
Awesome. So before I get into Dogdrop, I have to say I was looking at your LinkedIn profile and I saw that China is one of your personal interests. So I just have to ask what that's about.
Yeah, sure. Kind of funny story, but my LinkedIn, that is true, but my LinkedIn about 6 or 12 months ago got hacked. So then I had to update like the last 10 or 15 years on LinkedIn. So I just put all one word interest because I was like, there's no way I'm going and updating it, everything. I went to business school in Shanghai and I ended up staying and living and working in China for about 3.5 years. So in my top 5 interests, I added China. Love the startup scene over there, innovation. Absolutely loved living there. I lived in Shanghai for about 3 years and Beijing for a little over a year as well.
Nice. Yeah, that's so cool. And when you came back, did you immediately start Dogdrop or how did that sort of transition work?
I did not, but when I came back, I immediately on day one got my miniature dachshund Poppy. I think that was one of my other 5 interests that I put as well. We literally met each other at LAX, and I thought, oh, get a dog. How hard could it be? I was working China business hours, so I had until about 3 p.m. every day to sort of do whatever I wanted and was working from home pretty flexible. And then later on, with my own personal pain points, ended up getting into a rabbit hole of dog daycares.
That's awesome. I actually grew up with two miniature dachshunds. Shout out to Twinkie and Cupcake, RIP. But
I had
um,
Clover and Cigar.
oh
Yeah, there's
wow,
something about
sounds
them.
like similar childhoods then.
Yeah, definitely. Wonder if they're from the same litter.
So to transition over to Dogdrop, tell us, what exactly is Dogdrop? What makes it unique?
Yeah, so for dog parents, we wanted to create a much more convenient, high quality dog daycare. Kind of the same service expectations that you'd expect from something in the wellness space. And that's not what I saw as a dog parent when I was going to dog daycares in LA a handful of years ago. And so we even bill in 30-minute increments. We open up the market size to anyone that wants to drop off their dog for even an hour while they go work out next door, or they want to have an uninterrupted podcast or whatever we're on right now, all of the above, or if they really just need all day dog daycare. And then it's a membership model. Members have access to any of our convenient locations, and we have high quality drop raters, our dog daycare attendants. So we make the overall pet parent experience just so much easier. But our business as a franchisor is providing I hate to say it's a business in a box is so cliche. That's our ultimate, I think everyone's ultimate end game. I don't know if anyone will ever be completely there, but we provide as much as we can of a business in a box solution to pet care entrepreneurs who want to start a business in a $140 billion industry. We build all the technology ourselves and we try to create a vertically integrated solution for those pet business owners.
Fantastic. So just to make sure I understand the concept, let's say, I have Twinkie and Cupcake here and I need a service. Like, how does that work? Where do I take them? I think you said it's only or it can be as short as half an hour. How do I get charged? Like, maybe you could just walk me through like what that looks like from the customer standpoint.
Yeah, so going back to our number one value prop on convenience, where no appointment needed. So you can go to any of our locations. They're brick and mortar locations. We typically conveniently place them on the ground floor of multifamily properties. So we have a pretty interesting real estate strategy there. But once you're a member of a Dogdrop, you can access any location, just drop in. The drop off can be a quick 30-second experience, literally a handover. We even have curbside if you want to request for someone to pop outside to pick up your dog, and there's nothing you need to do. While you're away, your dog will have enrichment activities. They could even be doing like Zen and relaxation. There's different daily programming throughout the day. As a pet parent, you're doing whatever you need to do. You can opt in to get updates, who your dog is playing with, what they're eating, what's going on with their bathroom schedule, all the fun stuff. And then you don't even have to let us know when you're picking your dog up. totally up to you within our operating hours. But if you want curbside, you can say request dog, and we'll make sure that both of your dogs are outside with a leash and collar on, their paws are wiped, and they're ready for handover and the pickup, as well as a 30-90 second experience too.
That's awesome. What are the typical hours, and is this 7 days a week, 5 days a week?
Yeah, so for our locations, we always want to be open earlier and later than anyone else. So again, going back to that convenience for the dog parents. So typically we're open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Our franchise owners can accommodate that. For instance, we have a location that's next to the Hollywood Bowl in LA. When they have Hollywood Bowl, concerts or something that's going to 11 p.m., they may stay open later to help accommodate pet parents dropping their dogs off from 9 to 11, going to a concert or something. So we provide all the guidelines to our franchise owners so that they can operate the business in the neighborhood that works best for them. It is dog daycare only. So, and we close on Sundays, and we see that we have very high staff retention, and we don't see that we need to be open 7 days a week. And we can use that Sunday actually to drive traffic and community engagement to our location. So, for instance, we can rent out the space for dog birthday parties. You can have local doodle meetups, puppy socializations. So, just have that space for activities to drive in new members.
That's fantastic. How many employees are needed to actually run one of these, and are they full-time, part-time, some combination?
Yeah, so we as a system have a 1 to 15 ratio. So dog daycare is really interesting. There's only a couple states in the United States that have a requirement, but I'm in California. You can literally have 50 plus dogs to one person working. I call that
Wow.
keeping dogs alive dog daycare. It's not a really enriching experience for anyone. So our system, we require every 15 dogs that we have one operator, daycare attendant watching. So it depends how many dogs throughout the day. And we actually build in our software really smart staffing analytics as well, so that we can see, hey, on Wednesdays, if we have 60 dogs, we need four draw operators during that time. So typically an owner would have about 6 to 8 employees, and most of them are all on part-time and hourly, unless it's a salaried manager.
So just to make sure I understood that last point, are you saying that the technology sort of allows them to anticipate what the demand will be and then sort of staff based upon that?
Yeah, if anyone's in brick or
Okay.
mortar, any kind of industry, we know that labor is typically the number one cost. So we build that in. So it's a really helpful tool that we built, especially to run this type of business.
Awesome. And I saw that you guys have some sort of app. Is that app customer facing? Is that for the franchisees, or who is that for?
Yeah, so that's our web app. So, for instance, for the owners of the store, so franchisees, that tool that I just described is all within our web app. So, everything you need to operate the location is within our proprietary web app as well. There is a customer facing web app too, where dog parents can see their dog profile, they can manage their memberships, they can see their visits, they have a calendar, they can get updates of their dogs, pet vet records, all the good stuff on the customer facing side too.
And you had mentioned that you have membership options. Is it sort of like a monthly membership, or how does that work?
Yeah, so Dogdrop is solely membership based. This really helps us build a safe environment for the dogs as well. And that, again, going back to how dog daycare doesn't have a lot of requirements. So we built really our own blue standard, if you will. And so that we make sure all dogs are up to date on vaccinations, that they've passed our behavioral assessment, everything that we put into. So we find that a membership community works much better for our members. And as business owners, we know we love recurring revenue too. So there are a couple different membership tiers, and it's based on utilization. All members, they save their credit cards. So let's say I'm on a mid tier at $150 per month. I can always use more, and my card is saved on file. So sort of like Uber, and I'm charged in 30-minute increments with a daily cap. So you don't have to do any
Interesting.
transactions at the end of your pickup.
Very cool. Very cool. And apologies if you already answered this, but how many square feet are these locations typically? I know you said they're below like multifamily units typically.
Yeah, so We need around 2,200 square feet for a Dogdrop location. And again, we typically have a store that features three different play parks. Those are indoor rooms, and we separate dogs based off of energy level and temperament rather than just size and breed. So, for instance, we have like a little French bulldog. You know, those things are wild, lots of energy. They typically would go in the higher energy park, and when they need a break throughout the day, they can go into a low or mid energy park. So our drop raiders are trained in dog behavior and engagement so that they can circulate the dogs so they're in the safest and happiest place for them.
What dogs go in the low energy park typically? Is that like basset hounds or?
That's right. We even had like a 15-year-old Weimaraner. So he was a big dude, but I mean, he was 15, so he just wanted to chill and have some low energy time with the other dogs.
Nice. And as far as total investment, like what, if somebody was considering this, what would they be looking at as far as range and how much, liquid capital would they really need to put up most likely?
Yeah, so our investment range, and you can read the exact details in our FDD, but is between 4 to 600,000. We really work with multifamily developers to get very competitive tenant improvement deals as well to significantly reduce that initial investment. So I'm happy to speak to anyone about those details. We're just getting great deals left and right because, as you can imagine, pet amenities are the number one requested amenity, and we work with some of the top developers across the US to position Dogdrop as an amenity so that they can attract and retain residents upstairs. We do have a 150K cash minimum requirement as well. We want to make sure that our folks are well capitalized, and we all know as business owners, things can take longer or cost more, and we do our best to get our stores open, but we want to make sure that everyone's set up for success.
It looked like from your LinkedIn profile and a few articles that I read that you are VC backed, if I was reading it correctly. Curious, what was that process like as far as raising money? And how do those investors really help, dog drop and make it better for franchisees?
Yeah, so Dogdrop, we are a technology driven business. So we've invested a ton into the technology to run our locations more efficiently for our specific business model that we believe is superior in terms of maximizing revenue in a smaller footprint as well, so that we don't have to rely on business streams such as boarding, which business owners have to like always sleep with one eye open, or grooming, and you're worrying about groomers, not making it to their appointments. So that's why we've specifically landed on the single service dog daycare only and built the technology around that. We have awesome venture investors as well. We're backed by science. They've incubated Dollar Shave Club, Liquid Death. So just crazy great consumer brands. They also incubated Dog Vacay, which was acquired by Rover, which I'm sure we're all familiar with. Too, the CEO of WAG is an investor. Mars Pet Care is an investor. So we have all of our pet people and great consumer funds too. I think they really help us strategically on building a strong brand, because ultimately to our franchisees, the more we can help them attract customers is going to make their business successful. And then the
Mhm.
technology is obviously a big component of that, of what we're working on behind the scenes.
And what does a day in the life of an owner look like? Is this always owner operated? Is it sometimes, more of a semi absentee thing? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I always go back to why we're franchising. This is because that will answer what we look for in an owner. So we're franchising because in pet care, that kind of trust and local ownership is so important. When we opened our first location, we opened it with the goal of, like, hey, let's try this out, let's pilot it, see if it works, and we want to build a model that's scalable. So we started with that concept, and that's why we raised venture capital from day one. Too, what we see in our owners is those that are engaged with their community. They're giving back as well. A lot of that, like grassroots guerrilla marketing, it is so helpful to bringing customers, the dog parents, in the door. So, like, their number one quality should ultimately be on membership sales, which we see on the grassroots side. as we provide a ton of support for local marketing playbooks. We partner with multifamily developers. So, like leasing managers, it should be the franchise owner's best friend, the local gyms next door, any other small business that's complementary. Drop your dog off while the human does XYZ for 1 to 2 hours. So, we really expect our owners to put a lot of time into on the ground local marketing. And then the second element is they really need to be great as a team leader. So it is ultimately, we pride ourselves on providing the best dog daycare experience to pet parents. And so we need an owner that's able to motivate their staff to want to be the best. It's not all glamorous. We want to have our team to have pride. This is the cleanest dog daycare ever. We are the best with the dogs. And so we need a owner that can do that.
As far as the actual location placement, I know it's part of this multifamily unit. Is it typically near like a grocery store, or what are the types of things you guys are looking for?
Yeah, so we're really looking for where other humans are spending 1 to 2 hours where possibly their dog. So, for instance, our Denver location at Ninth and Colorado, that's a great location. It's next to a True Fusion gym. There's a massage concept next door. There's a couple facial concepts. There's even a sploot vet, a chewy vet. There's like 2 or 3 vets within a block as well. But even people can drop off their dog and go to the gym. One of our other locations is next to a Mayweather boxing gym, the other next to a block away from an F45, so that, a membership based gym is really important. We say, hey, Mayweather has 1,000 monthly members. We can make an assumption that many of those members are similar demographic to a Dogdrop customer too, and that, X% has dogs. So that's really what we're looking for. And then in terms of the apartment building above us, we typically look at for a minimum of 200 units. And per Greystar, I think it was their latest stats, was about 65% of their residents are dog owners as well.
Well, it sounds like you guys have a clear game plan in place as far as the real estate, which is great to hear. I think I asked just about all the questions I had, but is there anything else that you wanted to get across?
I think right now, where I think what we do that's really interesting is probably, I always go back to the technology side. I think the owners that we're really attracting into our system are probably folks that are, sub 40 years old. They maybe got their MBA. They're looking at entrepreneurship through acquisition or other ideas there too. And they're typically really attracted to Dogdrop when we do a tech demo. I think that's one fun thing is like on through our discovery sales process as well, is like right away we demo our software and they're like, hey, this is super cool, it's very relatable to what I'm used to, this is a business I can see myself running. And so that's always a really fun thing to do. So if I have anyone out here that ever wants to check out our software, we love to do that. And we really want to make business ownership, it's never easy, but how can we make it as easy as possible to get people into business ownership and be a partner with them throughout their ups and downs.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you coming on. This has been super interesting conversation. Everybody, please, check out Dog Drop and reach out to Shayna or myself. Thanks for
Awesome.
your time here, Shayna.
Thanks, Tim.